Looks like Molly is nestled into her chair in the chat room, so that means we can start.
This is the Citadel Cafe.
This is the Citadel Cafe, episode number 85 for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2013. My name is Joel Duggan, and the Citadel Cafe is where myself and my friends come to get together and talk about the geeky stuff that we are into. We cover everything from movies and television to books, apps, and websites. And joining me this week, a frequenter of the Citadel Cafe, Mr. Joel Cain is back.
Good evening.
Good evening. Dramatic pause.
I felt declarative.
It had that Halloween kind of tinge to it. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to my humble abode. How you doing, man? What's new?
Oh, I'm good. Not too much. My stepdad gave me his old iMac, which is pretty cool.
Right
So
on.
I've been having fun playing around with that.
Is this your first Mac, or are you normally a Mac guy?
No, I'm not normally a Mac guy, but I did get a Mac, a quote unquote free Mac for going to college.
Mm-hmm.
But huge quotes around the free because you're actually paying more than you would if you went to the store. But yeah, so I had a MacBook, just a regular little MacBook from like 2007 or something. It was ancient.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely like the iMac a lot better. It's got, the bigger screen with the nice glass and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, is it a 21, 27?
I believe it's like 21 and a half, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, if it was 27, it would be trying to swallow you whole.
Yeah, I think that's the one my stepdad got.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah, they're really big. They just refurbished not refurbished. They just updated the iMacs just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's probably why he got one.
Yeah, with new guts inside and stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I could afford one. I'm always looking on the refurbished site for Apple because I don't necessarily need it to be screaming fast. I don't need to tweak everything out to the edge of existence. But I like when new iMacs come out. Sometimes it's just a simple matter of changing the chipset or something like that. So you can go on and get the old chipset for a couple $100 off on the refurb Apple site. And the refurb Apple site is basically just things that have had boxes opened or whatever, and they just legally can't sell them for full retail, but there's nothing wrong with them.
Wow.
Like they've been returned, or like they've been returned and fixed, and then they're fine. Like and it's all Apple certified. You still get your warranty. You still get all that kind of stuff. So
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, the trick, of course, is that you don't have a selection of everything that they have. You have basically what they have in stock.
Right.
Like in Canada, what's hanging on the shelf in refurb? Well, we've got one of these 27s. We've got two of these 21s. They're both from 2010. Like they're not always amazing, but you can sometimes save up to $600. When you're looking at something like an iMac. I've looked at refurb iPads as well because I'd really like to get a Retina screen for my iPad, but they are you don't often save that much. It's like $60, $50 here. It's like they don't.
It's almost not worth it at that point.
Yeah, at that point you're just like, well, for the sake of $50, I'm just gonna go buy a brand new one.
Yeah.
Speaking of, lots of brand new iPod, iPhone, no, not iPhone, but Apple stuff everywhere yesterday. Apple just kind of went, said, here's all the new things. Here's all the new things. But yeah, no, they released new MacBook Pros. They were new Air prices, new iPads, new iPad prices. There was something else that they did too. Oh, the Mac Pro. So there's MacBook Pro, but then there's the Mac Pro, the little black garbage can looking one.
Oh yeah. That's such a weird choice.
It's a strange choice, I agree, but it's a screaming fast computer now it's $3,000 just to start.
Yeah.
But you can, the thing comes with up to like 64 gigs of RAM. Like it's meant for, video editing professionals and stuff like that. So I can, it would be nice if I won the lottery, but it's not really on my hit list.
Right.
I've been debating, I use a laptop currently. I have a 2009 MacBook Pro. And it works for me, despite the fact that I don't leave the house that often anymore because of doing all the freelance work. But it does travel from desk to desk. I've got a standing desk and I've got a sit-down desk with my Cintiq at it, and the Mac just unplugs from one and plugs into the other.
Oh, that is really convenient.
Yeah. Now, if I ended up getting an iMac, I would think that I would probably put the iMac on the seated desk and then use the Cintiq with it, because it would have better guts than this old 2009. And then the
Yeah.
2009 would be more of my kind of like, emailing, coding, kind of like standing desk stuff. Because I don't draw that much standing at the desk. I do more just computer stuff, admin stuff, and podcasting. I like to podcast standing up too. So it's one of those weird sort of decisions as to like I don't necessarily need a laptop, but sometimes you're looking at an iMac and you're looking at a 15-inch MacBook Pro, and the difference in price is negligible considering
Yeah,
what they have inside of them now. So
definitely.
yeah, the only problem, of course, with the MacBooks, any kind of laptop, is that after a few years, I mean, I've had this one for almost 5 years now. The batteries start to go. Like it's not
Oh
really a
yeah.
laptop anymore. It's just kind of a computer that can move around.
It's a portable computer you still have to plug in.
Yeah, pretty much. I know that's the other thing too, is like I could probably take this to get serviced, fix the mouse pad, and fix the battery for a couple $100, and it would probably like be a brand new computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of some people putting aftermarket solid state drives in old MacBooks as well, and that
Oh
speeds them up
yeah.
considerably. This has got a spinning drive. It's got like a 250 gig spinning drive. So I mean, if I switch that out for even half that, like even 128, for a solid state, that would probably be okay.
Yeah, I actually heard Leo Laporte talking about that when he did it 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
He was like, "Oh, it's great. The only problem is you don't have your CD-ROM drive anymore. So you
Yeah. Well,
gotta, because you have to rip that out to make room."
yeah, I think that I've maybe used it twice.
Oh, really?
Yep. When
See,
I
on my MacBook, I use it constantly. On the iMac, I haven't used it once since I put the system disks in to install Snow Leopard in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, since I've upgraded to Mountain Lion, but that doesn't come on disk.
Yeah. Well, that's the
So,
thing. Like you can download the disk image from Mountain Lion and throw it on like a thumb drive if you have one
oh,
large
really?
enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's easy to find online. You can look up the instructions online and do it, and that's way more reliable and easier to store than a CD. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
mean, I'm
and
not too worried about it because I can just install Snow Leopard and upgrade again.
well,
It's just kind of a
well,
time sink.
yeah. Well, you don't even need to install Snow Leopard again. You can just upgrade right to Mavericks.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, see me, and that's the other thing that Apple released the other day, of course, was Mavericks, which is the new operating system for Mac. I mean, it's new; it's an update to the current. It's not anything too crazy, but there's a lot of really nice features, like being able to use two monitors with different full screen apps happening on both monitors. You can
Ooh.
use tabbed browsing, just like in Safari. You can now do that in the Finder, which is a little overdue, but it's a lot of catch up, but it's still a lot of nice stuff that I'm going to appreciate. I really like the fact that I can do different full screen apps on different monitors because, as I mentioned, when I hook up my MacBook Pro to my Cintiq, the MacBook Pro is a second screen, and I can put like reference images and stuff like that up on it. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, because it was just an extended desktop, I've had to like mouse over and arrange things just so before
Yeah.
going back to my main desktop. But with a full screen app like running Preview or something like that, full screen on it, I wouldn't have to worry about that. I could just page back and forth between a couple different things. I could have several images open full screen on the MacBook Pro and just switch between them. So
That's
that,
cool.
yeah, it'll help quite a bit. I'm actually looking forward to giving that a try in my workflow.
Yeah, I'm
Plus,
gonna
like,
be updating right after we're done here tonight.
oh, nice, yeah, it doesn't take that long. The price is right; it's free.
Yeah,
I
can't
thought
beat
that was,
that.
yeah. There's a little bit of a confusion though. They were also talking about how GarageBand and all the iLife suite and the iWork suite were also free, and they're free with purchase. You have to
Yeah,
buy
I
a
noticed. I saw the
Mac.
same thing, and I was like, "Oh, goody! I can upgrade." And then,
Yeah.
no.
No. Now the only difference is that the iLife, I believe, is free to anybody that has purchased a Mac since iLife 11. So if you already own an iLife 11 license, you can download the iLife stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Or if you had already purchased the previous versions of Pages, iWork stuff. I can't remember what they call the Excel sheet, but uh, the reason why I know that is because I use iLife 10 or iLife 09, whichever the version was when I bought my MacBook in 09. But along the way, somewhere in the last few years, when I started podcasting, I updated GarageBand to GarageBand 11. So in the Apple Store, in the App Store on my Mac, it's $14.99 to upgrade iMovie and upgrade iPhoto, but the upgrade to GarageBand is free.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think it's because I have the iLife 11 license, and that's why I have access to that. So for anybody that bought a Mac more recently than 2010, 2011-ish, they should be okay, I would imagine.
Oh, that's cool. Good on them for that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good move too. Like I'm really impressed by it. I mean, well, you and I are looking at a Google Doc right now. I mean, that's how we share and collaborate. And if I was, doing a regular podcast with somebody that was on a Mac, I would totally not bother with Google Docs. I would switch to a collaborative tool like Pages or something like that as they did the demo. The demo is available, or the whole keynote is available on the Apple TV if you happen to have one. I'm sure you can go to apple.com and check it out there too. But that's how I spent a good portion of my afternoon yesterday. Yeah.
Watching that Apple thing.
Yeah, no, it was good. It's nice to just kind of, it doesn't happen all the time. Like I don't really feel guilty taking the better part of an hour and a half to just sit down with a couple cups of coffee and just kind of take it all in. I was watching Twit Live and getting their commentary and stuff on it. They're pretty snarky, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, but I'm always at work when they do these big presentations. It doesn't matter what company it is. I'm always working.
Yeah, it's like 10 a.m. Pacific time, so it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, 1 o'clock for me.
Yeah. So that's it's one of the benefits, I guess, of working from home. So
although I am looking forward to BlizzCon. You best believe I'm not making any plans that weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to be at Hal-Con the same weekend as BlizzCon.
Oh, is that the same weekend?
Yeah. So Jocelyn and I are going to have a virtual ticket because
that's what I'm doing.
We're gonna want to take in some stuff, and she's pretty sure that a lot of the things are available video on demand after the fact. For
yes,
people
they
that
are. At least they were last year.
Yeah, that people have the ticket. So we're gonna check it out. Oh, wait a minute. So do we need the ticket to get video on demand?
Yes. Okay. You still have to get the virtual pass.
Okay. So that's what we're gonna do, because it's not much. It's like $20. And that's $20 for both of us, of course, because we live in the same house. So
right, you can just watch over each other's shoulder.
One pass, yeah. We'll probably do it on my account, just in case that makes it easier to put up on the TV via the Apple TV or AirPlay or something. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna be spending most of that weekend, November 8th through the 10th, at Hal-Con, where I'm a guest. So that will be keeping me busy. But during the evenings, it'll be nice to kick back and watch some cool Blizzard stuff. Have you ever thought about going to BlizzCon?
I've thought about it, but well, first of all, if you don't get a ticket in the first nanosecond, you're out of luck anyway.
Yeah, it is impossible.
Yeah, but second of all, that's just so much money for 1 week, and I just don't know that I could stomach it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Nerdtacular is one thing. BlizzCon is like a whole different beast in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, and Nerdtacular is kind of like a mini BlizzCon.
Yeah.
All the people that I want to see at BlizzCon go to Nerdtacular anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sure BlizzCon would be a spectacle, and if I had more money to go and do it, I probably would work it into some sort of con schedule. I'd find an excuse to be in California. Well, for example, CTNX is this weekend, I think, or possibly the following weekend. So that would be a really good excuse for me to be in California and write off a ticket, a plane ticket, and a hotel stay. Yeah.
Like a business expense.
Yeah. Well, guys. Well, a lot of these things. I'm totally networking at. There's 22 days till CTNX. And for those of you that don't know, that's the Creative Talent Network's Animation Expo in Burbank, California. And that is, does it say the date? They say 22 days, so it's probably the weekend after BlizzCon. It looks like maybe the 18th.
I can't remember exactly when.
No, you'd think they would have a giant date. Here it is in very fine print, November 15th to 17th. So I was right.
Okay.
So it's the weekend after BlizzCon. So that would be an excellent opportunity, reason for me to go to BlizzCon,
yeah, totally.
have a little bit of vacation, and then go work at CTNX and start networking and try to meet some people. So I will definitely have to keep that in mind for next year.
Yeah, I would totally go just to hang out with the Guildhall thing, do all
Mm-hmm.
that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be really cool. But if I'm not gonna go to BlizzCon proper, it's almost like it's not worth the money. Not because I don't think that those people at the Guildhall are not important or anything, but it's just like I'm in town next to this giant event, and I have to hang out at my hotel all day while everybody else is busy. It just seems kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's lots of stuff going on. I mean, especially like with Comic Con. I know that in San Diego, some of the bigger events and some of the cooler events are actually not at the Comic Con. They're like the Uncon, the Creator Con, and stuff that's just down the street.
oh really?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of cropping up because it's so hard to get into and be seen at Comic Con. So I imagine that there's probably a lot of stuff happening for um, people that are at BlizzCon that couldn't get tickets, couldn't get in. And there's probably a lot of people. I don't know that you'd be alone sitting in your hotel.
Yeah, that's probably true. I hadn't
You
thought
know,
about it like that.
with so many people unable to get tickets or tickets going so quickly, I would imagine it's probably something that's like it's probably a lot of people
Yeah.
that are going to be there that are not actually going to be able to get into the event, and they end up creating their own kind of like sub event or something.
Play some Munchkin or something.
Yeah, hey, look, there you go. Maybe even some Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, there you go.
Fun times. If you're going to be in Halifax though, this weekend, just a couple more days, which is creeping up on me a hell of a lot faster than I wanted to. I will be at the Halifax Pop Explosion Pop Expo, which is at the World Trade and Convention Center from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On Saturday. And I'm going to be selling books and prints and doing sketches and stuff like that. So if you happen to be checking out the Halifax Pop Explosion, they're going to have like a self-published zine fair. There's going to be a record fair. There's a couple of other. There's a craft fair, and then I'm one of the artists, just kind of a vendor in this pop expo. There's just kind of a mix of everybody. They put them all in one big kind of room this year for the pop expo, so everybody can kind of get a little bit of everything. I believe. Pardon me. I believe tickets are $5 for the morning, but if you're coming afternoon, it is free admission. I think the reason for that is the record fair. People that want to go in and grab rare records, they're charging for people that want to come in really early. And then after that, I imagine traffic probably dies down a little bit, so they reduce the admission fee to nothing. And one more little bit of business before we move on, and that is a happy birthday wish to Helen MacLeod. Technically, the birthday was yesterday, but we gave a shout out to her husband and our show friend Callum last month or earlier this month. I can't remember. I think it was September. Gave him a birthday shout out. So we wouldn't want to cause any feathers to be ruffled in the MacLeod household. So happy birthday, Helen. I hope everything is going well. And have a pint on me. Yeah, that's about it for all the, I guess, the news and points and stuff to get out of the way. What have you been watching, man? What have you been doing? More movies, Netflix? What's on the big screen?
I have been on Netflix all the time right now because, all right, I'm the kind of person who something will interest me or I'll find something curious or something and I lock onto it. I like a freaking laser guided target system. I'm like, I'm on this and this is my entire life for this evening. So lately that has been comedy. And I've been fascinated by different approaches that different stand-up comedians have with delivering jokes, and you can hear the same joke told by two different people who created it, the structure of the joke in two completely different ways, and they're funny for different reasons, and that just fascinates me. So I've been watching a ton of stand-up comedians trying to dissect their techniques.
Nice. Have you seen a comedian in cars getting coffee?
No.
Okay, this is a Sony production. You can get it on the Crackle app, and it's free.
Okay.
And if you happen to have an Apple TV, it'll AirPlay, or I think you can watch it. You might be able to watch it online as well, but the Crackle app for sure has them. And it's not really, you don't need it to be big screen, but it's Jerry Seinfeld taking out some of his comedian friends for coffee.
Oh,
And they film it.
I remember seeing commercials for this. Like this was probably a few years ago. This came out, right?
Yeah, and
Or
it's
started.
cool. Yeah, it's funny, but it's also kind of a window into the process. Like they talk about the craft, they talk about stand up in the life as a comedian or making it in Hollywood or doing whatever. I mean, it's just kind of a casual conversation. They don't really script a whole lot.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see a lot of different people. He's got Michael Richards on there. He's got oh crap, what's his name from 30 Rock? Baldwin. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I got him on there. A few other guys that are just right out to lunch. Really funny guys.
Yeah.
So that might be something that would interest you. So
definitely. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Yeah. who were you watching? Like what
I've been watching pretty much anything that I can find on Netflix. The ones that stuck out to me are number one, Dave Gorman. If you have never heard of this man, you need to stop whatever you're doing. Well, okay, after the podcast, you need to go on Netflix, go on Apple, the iTunes store, go to Google Play, do whatever you have to do to find this guy's stand-up because he is hysterical. He has the most unique the most unique method of storytelling that I've ever seen. Like, he's this British guy and he gets real excited and real animated, and I don't really know how to describe him other than he's just so. All right, here's a good way to describe him. He's one of those people who is exceedingly brilliant, but dropped out of school and never really like followed through with his career path and got his major, all that stuff. But he's exceedingly brilliant. Like, he breaks down this math problem and it's funny. I never thought in my life that math would be funny, but this guy manages to do it, and it's not just like ha 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 funny. It's like my stomach was cramping because I was trying to eat while I was watching this guy.
Nice.
It was just great.
That's cool. I don't recognize him.
Yeah, I didn't either until this afternoon.
Huh.
He's great.
Usually, like you'll recognize comedians from like specials that they've done, or like when they do like Just for Laughs or other comedy specials where there's a bunch of comics involved.
Yeah, you at least recognize their face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy is actually. I mean, I know he's British, and I think that he's really only big over there. I don't think he's done much in the States compared to a lot of the American comics. But cool. But yeah, I've also been watching some Bill Burr. He's always funny. He's just real, loud. He's one of those guys who sounds like he's yelling when he's talking normal, which I find funny anyway. So he's a blast to watch. And let's see, Mark Maron is pretty good if you get his style of humor. A lot of it's kind of dark almost, and he's always sounds like real kind of down on himself, but you can tell that he's joking at the same time. So you kind of got to be in the mood for him. And Reggie Watts is another one of my favorites. That guy is just ridiculous. He does stand-up, but in his stand-up, he has like a loop machine, and he'll sit there. He'll be like, do stuff like that, and then he'll start singing on top of it, and all of a sudden, he's got this song that's like real trippy and melodious and stuff, but it's also really freaking funny. Like
the lyrics once he starts singing and inserting like the rap song or whatever it is he's doing.
Yeah,
you really start to like you sit there and wonder in awe at this guy's just compositional talent on stage for music and rhythm, and then he twists it around on you and he starts like making fun of like street rappers or thug R&B or music videos with girls with big boobs. Like the lyrics are really, really clever, and he is a unique looking individual too, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, he's got this huge, crazy. He's got this afro that's so big that it doesn't even like puff out anymore. It just kind of falls down to the side.
Yeah. He's a very interesting looking guy, and another comedian that I think is probably very intelligent.
Oh, Reggie Watts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say is.
Oh no, he is.
Oh wait, that's what he meant.
Yeah, he is. No, he is someone that I find strikes me as very intelligent as an individual.
Definitely, I think so too.
I was lucky enough to see him live here in Halifax when he was part of a comedy fest, and I went with a couple of friends. And I mean, it was a small venue, so you kind of got not close, but you're close enough to see what he was doing. Like pressing buttons, and you can kind of see him thinking and kind of counting beats and stuff as he's up there. Like it's very, very cool. And he is definitely worth checking out. I mean, I'm writing all of these guys down to go check out after, but Reggie Watts would be the first person that I would check out. Do you know of any good female comedians that are on Netflix?
I tend to not watch female comedians. It's not that I'm sexist or anything. I just don't prefer them.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's just one of those things. Like I'm the same way with music. I can appreciate the talent, but I just prefer guys.
Really? That's
Yeah,
funny.
I don't
See,
know what it is.
I would almost always rather sit and listen to a female singer-songwriter than a guy.
Yeah, and I can understand that. I'm not saying I don't get it. Like I totally get it. It's just not my preference
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll sit there. My ex-girlfriend used to be in a semi-professional singing group, and I loved listening to her sing, but I might have preferred hearing a guy group sing
Huh.
instead.
Interesting.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird.
It's funny how your preferences land. Like, I mean, I would think that if it was like a rock band or something like that, I would
Hmm.
probably lean more for a male lead singer. But
Yeah,
then when it comes to like jazz or, uh, hmm, blues or like a singer songwriter, kind of like, Sheryl Crow or
yeah,
Nora Jones, Adele, a lot of these people kind of come to mind.
yeah.
Um, and then not that I listen to a lot of country, but when I do, I flip back to the male singer songwriter.
Really,
Yeah, it's
that's
weird.
funny. So you're
It's
kind of all over the place.
yeah, it's kind of strange. I mean, and I'm not saying so much preference as I am just kind of going on habit, like just thinking about the albums I have, which ones I listen to the most.
Right.
That's my track record. Hmm.
And you know what I really think it is for me personally is I think it's because of my dad because my dad was in a singing group for like the majority of my childhood. So, you know, they would have practice at our house a lot of the time. So I would sit there and just listen to my dad and his friends sing for, you know, a couple hours while they're rehearsing. And that's most of what made me love music in the first place. So that's probably a huge reason of why I prefer guy singers over girls.
Hmm.
Don't know why it is with comedians, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know how I got into jazz and blues. My parents didn't listen to any of that stuff growing up.
Yeah.
Dad listened to like Simon and Garfunkel and like folk music. And my mom has always listened to whatever's new. I mean, my mom is still listening to. I mean, she likes the classic oldies and stuff like that, and because that's what my stepfather likes. But
Yep.
my sister and my mother trade albums all the time because they both listen to the same current, kind of top pop hits. I mean, not all of it, but they
Yeah.
have their favorites. They have their bands. They prefer. I've noticed lately they prefer bands. Like they like Matchbox 20 and a couple of other similar type groups where they're a real band, not just like a
Yeah.
manufactured pop person. I mean, there's so much crap out there too. It's
You
hard to
mean they're
weed
not
through.
believers?
No. Again, America, we're sorry. We're sorry for Justin Bieber.
That's all
We
right. That's the
we
only thing I can think
apologize.
of that you guys have done wrong for like the last 600 years. So if that's your track record, I say you just own it.
I don't know. Pam Anderson's Canadian too.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sound you're about to hear is the end of all things.
Joel, where'd you go?
Where'd I go? Well, one of the things that I've been watching on Netflix, which is again like the only thing that I've been watching or have had time to watch. Obviously, I'm still keeping up with Once Upon a Time. I'll talk about that once I'm more caught up to, I guess, currently where they are on the season, to not have any spoilers happen for people. But I watched an old movie, and I feel like I might have watched this by mistake, thinking it was something else, but I don't know. I was in the mood for some action stuff. I had watched not the Incredibles. What's the one with Stallone and all the action guys?
The Expendables.
Expendables, thank you. So I watched
Yeah.
The Expendables a couple weeks ago just for fun. I'd seen it before. The Netflix recommended a bunch of Stallone movies, including Copland from 1997. And I remember there was this one drama where Stallone put on a lot of weight and was a cop, and he was kind of down on his luck and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I don't think this was it. I remember him being older and being heavier and like grislier in this
Yeah.
other movie. So I have yet to go look up whether other movie I had in mind when I decided to watch Copland. But the premise in Copland is pretty cool, and it had some stellar actors in it. I mean, Stallone, De Niro, Keitel, and Liotta are all in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's set in the late 70s, and what's happening is a lot of New York police officers are getting fed up with the crime in the city, with all the mob involvement, and they're not feeling safe. Like they're not feeling protected even amongst their own ranks.
Yeah.
So they want to move off the island, but you're not allowed as an NYPD officer to live off of Manhattan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so what they started doing was they started working nights and part time with the transit authority, with the subways. So
Okay.
then they get to be have their jurisdiction extended to uh, New Jersey because the
Oh, wow.
subways go underneath.
Yeah.
Not the Hudson. What's the other river? Hudson River, and
Oh, I have no
I
idea.
can't remember which. I can't remember which one is which.
The
Um,
Potomac? I don't know.
yeah. So so then they decide to move their families to New Jersey. So they start buying up land, like in these tiny little towns in New Jersey. So it's like the small town living for big city cops.
Yeah.
And the it's just kind of how this all rolls together. And it was really really well done. A lot of times movies from the 90s really stick out. You know, like the moment that somebody brings out a cell phone or the fashion, it really screams how dated it was.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this, though, is that even though it was made in '97, it was set in the '70s. So everything is just thrown back. The cars, the fashion, the mustaches, like it's all out there.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so it doesn't feel dated. It feels kind of authentic
Yeah.
in a way, which is really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Stallone plays the sheriff of this small town where a lot of police officers have come to live because they're doing this whole get off the island thing.
Yeah.
And there is some sketchy stuff happening. I won't get into anything in case anybody wants to watch it and spoil it, because it was just such a good mystery. It's such a good kind of a how are they going to sort this all out sort of story.
Yeah.
And Stallone plays such an interesting character because a lot of times you think about him as Rambo or Rocky, or more recently some other action films. But in this, he plays somebody who is really mousy. He's not at all brave. He's not. I mean, he's the sheriff, but he's got a really freaking easy job, and he's never had to do a whole lot because everybody that's in his town are cops, so they all, outwardly follow the law.
Right.
He's got to,
That's interesting.
deal with a couple drunken disorderlies here and there because they drink a lot, but that's it. So he really kind
Huh.
of has been put in this position as, babysitter as opposed to sheriff.
Yeah.
And he is quiet, like he doesn't say a whole lot. He strikes you as an intelligent man. The character, the story on his roots in the town is that a prom queen went over the bridge in her car into the river, and he dove in after her and saved her life. But because of the pressure in getting her out of the car, he lost the hearing in one of his ears, and that
Oh.
that has prevented him from getting on the force. Like he can't be a full-on police officer, so he's
Yeah.
stuck in the small-town sheriffing thing where nothing happens because he can't hear it at one ear. So he's got this whole downtrodden, uh, you know, still has feelings for this girl that he saved, 20 years ago, sort of situation. And it makes for a really interesting story. I was
Huh.
really impressed by it, and it's not a terribly long movie. It's like an hour and 40. So if you're kicking around and you want to check it out, it's called Copland, and it was from 1997. You can probably find, IMDb or other information on it. Although I do want to look up that movie that I thought was Copland and try to figure out, um, where it was that I saw this movie or thought about this movie. Because I mean, he's been in a couple movies where he's played a cop. I mean, all these action guys have always been in several where where they've been police officers or
Yeah.
other form of marshals or
Something
something.
similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm looking
That's cool.
forward to the new one that he's got with Schwarzenegger.
The next Expendables movie?
No, there's a one where they're making an escape. I can't
Oh.
remember. They're trying to escape from prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to remember the name. If only I was in front of a box that connected me with the rest of the internet, that I could look something up. While we talk
IMDb.
about it. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, IMDb. He has been in a lot of stuff. Holy
Yes, he
crap!
has. Yeah, I'm gonna add that Copland to my my
Yeah.
list on my list now. It's not an instant queue anymore.
Yeah, it's called Your List. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Escape
Netflix.
Plan is the name of the new one with Schwarzenegger.
Oh, go figure. Escape Plan.
Yeah. Geez, there's Expendables 2 and Expendables 3.
Yeah, three's coming out. They
Hmm.
fired he fired what's his name from that uh crap. Why now I'm blanking. Bruce Willis.
Oh, did he?
He's fired him from the Expendables 3. Yeah, he said, and I quote, he's greedy and lazy. That made my day. That was awesome.
God, can you imagine the egos in one room?
Oh, I know, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing Stallone like in Bruce Willis's face just going, "You're greedy and lazy." You know?
Yeah, or it's Schwarzenegger. That you go tell Schwarzenegger to fire him. That's a good way to go.
Yeah. You're fired. I
Get,
can't do a Schwarzenegger.
get
I don't know
out
why.
now.
I don't know why I even attempted that. I can't do a Schwarzenegger.
No,
Never
me
happened
either.
to me
I know
before.
I've never been able to do it. I'm a fan, but I've never been good at doing the impression. There's a
Right.
couple of guys that I've seen online that do a really good impression, and they drive around in their car and they just record the audio, and they're just like screaming at old ladies or talking about bad drivers in front of them, and it's all like this really heavy Austrian accent like Schwarzenegger. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. I think Frank, or was it Frank Caliendo? I think he may do that.
Yeah, possibly.
And he does also like a day in the life of Morgan Freeman. When Morgan Freeman pushes the garage door button, his door opens. You know, stupid stuff like that.
Oh man, hilarious. So what you always have a cool book on the go, man. What have you been reading?
Sticking with my theme of I don't care about anything else but comedy right now. I found a book on Kindle called Comedy Writing Step by Step. Only this is quote unquote the new Comedy Writing Step by Step because I guess the author updated it recently. Um, since it had been originally written. But it's basically just kind of like I can't remember the guy's name, who's the author. It is Gene Perret. He was like a writer for Leno, I think maybe. He's one of those comedians who you don't really hear about too often, but he's freaking everywhere.
Right.
Like he's got his hand in every jar. Well, that's a bad way to say it because then he's stealing everybody's money. But you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's just kind of one of those books like some of the chapters are the skills you'll need and comedy is a hobby, and then there's stuff like the value of monologues, comedy writing exercises, things like that. But it's not just written like here's step one, here's step two. The guy actually has a sense of humor even in his writing, so it's fun to read
Cool.
as well as has a lot of cool information,
Right
which
on.
is exactly what my geeked out mind needs right now is information. So
Jeez. Very cool. Yeah, I've actually been continuing to read Fables and I haven't quite finished that yet, so I'll just
oh yeah, how is it? Still good?
It's still good. Yeah, it's still good. I've switched over to the next series, which deals with the farm in upstate New York, and it's where all the Fables people go that are not human, like pigs and trolls
Right.
and foxes and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I only just got an issue or two into it, and it was late at night, and I fell asleep. So it's good. It's just that I was tired.
Yeah.
So I'll have to report back on that when it's done. But I am still reading those. So that's
Cool.
kind of an ongoing, just quick nod to what's going on with me. And I've only just been hunting around on Netflix for some stuff. But do you have anything that you've been listening to lately?
Um, oh yeah, I put up here. I haven't listened to it lately, but I put it on the show notes like the last 4 times, and we always run out of time to talk about it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna put it back on there again. It's just a playlist that I've kind of been curating on Pandora. It's my productivity playlist. It's I started the seed song is the song that I based the whole thing off of is called Blue Bossa Nova by the band Bossa Nova, and it's real kind of like mellow electronic, little bit of techno maybe, but mostly just real mellow electronica kind of. Maybe not even electronica, but just like real mellow like instrumentals
Okay.
and things like that. Anything that has lyrics in it, I instantly thumbs down it because I'm like, I don't want no lyrics. I'm trying to focus. It's my productivity playlist.
Right on.
So it's just it kind of gets you in that weird zone where you're just like, yeah, all right, and this music's putting me in a good mood, and then you don't have to think about lyrics or anything. You just focus on whatever it is you're trying to do. Puts me in a real cool state of mind. So
Nice. Very cool. I listen to a piano radio station called Solo Piano Radio whenever I want to do stuff like that. And
oh,
there's
interesting.
yeah, there's never any lyrics. There's a advertisement like once an hour, and it's just for the paid version of the the radio station. It only lasts a couple minutes. It's not a
Oh,
big deal.
nice.
But yeah, but it's really relaxing. If you've got like a rainy day or something like that, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we jump into the last part of the show, which is our Internet Minute, we actually have an email from my friend Saeed. This has been a long time coming. A long, long time ago on the show, you might remember that I was watching Transformers Prime and not like liking it, but not liking it. Like I had some issues with it. And Saeed and I have been back and forth on this, and he finally came out with, getting up to speed on Transformers Prime. So he said, "Hey, Joel and all, finally finished up season 1 of Transformers Prime, and I saw the first 3 episodes of season 2, and I think I'm starting to agree with you about the human animations being very simple. Before I let it slide and said it was just the kids' show and I didn't mind, but seeing Jack in that astronaut suit as he went to Cybertron really made the plastic feel come through, and I kind of went, huh, maybe Joel was right." I should tell Jocelyn about this. This should be something that should be marked down on the calendar. Joel was right, especially when compared to the robots who are beautifully rendered. Even the level of detail that goes into where their eyes move shows the attention that goes into the robots. I also tried watching an episode of Transformers Beast Wars recently, and man, did that show not age well. It's still fun, but wow. I have kept reminding myself that it was cutting edge 17 years ago. Holy shit! I just realized Beast Wars is almost 2 decades old. I think need to sit down now. Saeed. Well, I'm with you on the sitting down, man. I remember Beast Wars when it first came out, and I thought it was damn cool. And I shudder to think what I would look at and think of it now if I went through and checked it out, because
Uh,
I know that was a rough show just from memory. Like I know
yeah.
that it had some real rough edges. But it is. He's right though. It's the Transformers Prime cartoon. The horrible animation continues in season 2 for the humans. The robots get better. Like they spend so much attention on the Transformers, which I guess is what they have to do. But
That's the cool
unfortunately,
part, right?
yeah, but they don't make the kids less of a part of the show. The kids are still major characters. Major plot lines revolve around some of the kid characters, and they're animated horribly. And like they haven't even rendered the insides of their mouths. Like it's just you go and you get like a down shot or something very specific, and then you've got this little girl looking up at a big robot, and she's screaming. And when she opens up her mouth, you just see this giant hole. Like it looks awful,
Like
and
black cardboard.
yeah, like it's not well thought out in terms of using these puppets or these models um, in the show in the way that they do. Now the robots, of course, the Autobots and Decepticons look fantastic. Like they have a lot of really unique designs. They've got a lot of unique shapes. The animation is
Yeah.
punchy. The peril in the show is good. Like people and robots die. Like it's good that way. And the writing does get a lot better with the end of season 1 and beginning of season 2. But the humans do not, unfortunately. So
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
yeah, I agree with Saeed and have the record show that on October 23rd at 9:53 p.m. that I was right. Done deal. What's your pick this week, man? Anything fun?
Yeah, I've also been sort of in the background interested in some music programs again, just tinkering around with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I stumbled across this thing called Mobius. It's basically those loop pedals. Those guys will do like a beat, and then they'll hit the button, then they'll like Reggie Watts we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, sure.
He does the looping stuff. This is basically the software version of that.
Oh, cool.
So you can there's a Mac version and PC version, and you can basically just doesn't even you don't even have to have a good microphone. You can still play around with it. Just install it, open it up, and click help, and then click key bindings because that'll tell you how to actually do everything.
Nice.
Otherwise, it's not obvious. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun.
Cool. I know that there's a lot of stuff like that for like the iPad and the iPhone.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah,
I just never. I've always tried that. I used to have an iPod. I've tried it on my Android. It's not nearly as enjoyable on the phone for some reason. At least just to me.
Yeah.
I know some guys who have a blast with it, but it's just
Yeah.
like for me, it just doesn't do it.
The only advantage I would think to having it on a mobile thing like a phone or an iPad would be if you're out somewhere, especially if you were in a big city.
Hmm.
you could record like found audio.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a car going by, somebody going through a bike going through a puddle, subway flying by at crazy speeds and really being really loud. Like I feel like you could probably do some cool stuff. I mean, for that matter, you could record it on your phone when you're out and about anyway, and then just bring it home and drop it into your desktop version too. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
it's all what you want to make it, but very cool. I like messing around with audio stuff. I think I might actually
Heck yeah,
upgrade to the
man.
new GarageBand. Not tonight, but after I edit this week's show, I might
Yeah, yeah.
update it and see what the new things are. I don't think they really changed a whole hell of a lot, except for adding a lot of music stuff, which doesn't really affect podcasting that much. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I got the 30-day trial to Ableton Live. Oh man, that program is a lot of fun and really confusing until you figure it out.
yeah. That's sometimes I find it kind of frustrating where you'll have these either free trials or free software, open source stuff, and they're very powerful pieces of software, but the
Yeah.
documentation blows.
Live, it's actually, I shouldn't say it was really confusing. It's just there's a lot of stuff on the screen and it's hard to wrap your head around if you don't know what it does. But
Yeah.
like they have like a tutorial bar that automatically pops up on the right-hand side when you first open the
Well,
trial.
that's good. Yeah,
And
most
it's
stuff
like
doesn't have
here's some
that.
lessons you can choose from, and it's like
Mm,
setting up your audio device. Oh, that's cool. I don't know what my latency is, and all this stuff.
yeah.
And then there's like here's how you use session view, and here's arrangement view. You're like, oh, okay, I see how the pieces fit together now.
Mm.
So that was pretty neat. But the downside is it's like $600 software, which I'm
Oh,
probably not. Well, for the complete version, you get like $100 version or something, just with less features. But
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
this is like one of those professional pieces of software.
yeah. Well, with you having a podcast coming up, are you going to be the one doing the editing on the
Yes.
show? GarageBand is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I do like GarageBand. I'm actually used to one that's called Reaper.
Okay.
It's you can get a free trial for that one too, but the free trial runs out and then they don't actually make you buy a license to keep using it. I'm going to, but I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
But
Right
I've
on.
just gotten used to it because that's what I used on Windows and it's cross-platform, so I'm sticking with.
Nice. Cross-platform is always nice.
Yeah.
What's the price point on Reaper?
I think it's like $60. It's not bad.
That's not bad.
But a lot of professionals actually give it a good seal of approval because it's like, it's cheap and it doesn't have all the extras that some of the professional stuff has,
Hmm.
but it's very versatile. It's very powerful for what it offers. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Right on. Well, I have a unique pick this week. It is also music related to a point. This is the Beethoven Twerk, and it is via Justin Robert Young on Twitter. That's Justin R. Young. And if anybody out there follows Justin already, you'll know that he's got some very interesting ways of expressing himself as far as humor is concerned. And this video is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a lady in not a whole hell of a lot twerking to Beethoven. So not safe for work. Not safe for work. I'm going to say it one more time. Not safe for work, but funny. Really, really, really funny. And it's only a couple minutes long. I'll have the link up in the show notes, and probably the YouTube video will just be embedded right there in the notes. But check it out at your own peril. And hey, all hail Beethoven, I guess. Oh man, it's
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
I was glad I wasn't sipping coffee when I saw that the first time.
Yeah.
Oh man, well that is in the bag. Another episode of the Citadel Cafe has come to a close. We record live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on joelduggan.com/live. Music for the Citadel Cafe was composed by Kevin MacLeod, and of course you can find the podcast available on demand via iTunes and our website, thecitadelcafe.com, and that is also where you will find the show notes. The Citadel Cafe at gmail.com is where you can write in, just like Saeed, and get your 2 cents in. Bonus points if you call me correct or give me any kind of indication where I can say to someone else that I was right. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus as just the Citadel Cafe. The Gamers Inn airs every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on amove.tv. Jocelyn and Ryan are barreling towards the Extra Life gaming charity on November 2nd, which is going to be a 25-hour gaming marathon for the Children's Miracle Network. Both Jocelyn and Ryan are going to be playing for Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. but there's a whole host of people involved in the Tadpool gaming community that are all teaming up with the Gamers Inn to play games live and combine all of their efforts into one giant pot to donate to the Children's Miracle Network. So if you like video games, then please check out the Gamers Inn podcast at gamersinpodcast.com or amove.tv/TGI and find out more and how you can help them out. My name is Joel Duggan. You can find everything that I am up to online at joelduggan.com, which is currently where I have a big sale going on. This is the 1-year anniversary for Starcross Volume 1, my first book. So it's half off. 50% off all artist editions. So what was 20 is now 10. You get a book and a super cool sketch on the inside cover. And speaking of sketches, I also have my con sketches on sale for 20% off. Those are usually $50. Those are down to 40 now. And what that is, in case you're curious, is a 9x12 character sketch of your choice. And kind of my take on, Batman, Superman, the Hulk. I don't know, anybody from Nightmare Before Christmas with Halloween coming up. Whatever suits your fancy. And if you happen to be going to Hal-Con or going to Pop Expo this weekend, there is also an option on the con sketches to waive the taxes and the shipping and pick those up if you happen to be going to the con.
Cool.
So, my friend Joel, where can people find you online?
Still at Robot on Twitter, ROBUT, and that's still about it. The podcast is still coming, guys. Just scheduling conflicts over the past couple weeks, so we'll get there.
Hold on to your nuggets. It's coming.
That's right.
You've been listening to the Citadel Cafe, where we are fast, easy, and cheap, but you can only pick two.
If you don't mind me asking, how do you pipe your Skype audio to the stream?
I have a program called Audio Hijack Pro.
Audio Hijack Pro.
I believe it was $30. And what it does is allows you to hijack any software or hardware on your computer and pull the audio from it. So you can pull audio from the internet that way. You can pull audio from YouTube, from other apps, from games. And I use it to hijack Skype. And what I do is I've got two. I've got one that hijacks and records, and that has a bunch of different levelators and filters and stuff on it. Yeah. And then I have another hijack that sends it out to the stream. And the reason I do that is because for some reason the stream is really quiet, and in order to get it louder, I have to boost the gain. And if I record that locally, I get two different things. I get a nice stream for everybody to listen to, and then everybody is way overdriven on my end. So I record one. The other hijack has got a volume boost that goes out to the Justin TV people so they can listen live. And so that corrects the volume for them. The cool thing about all of this, though, is that I can't stream my audio by accident unless Skype is up. So if I'm not on a call, I'm not generating any audio with Skype.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. So I mean, I can't just FaceTime, and other stuff just won't go. It won't work.
Right.
I've never actually tried to hijack FaceTime. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm sure it's just the same as anything else. But
I think I've read about that program before, but I was under the impression that all it did was record.
FaceTime?
I didn't know you could. No. Audio Hijack Pro.
Oh, Audio Hijack, yeah. It's a combination of Audio Hijack and, oh, good Lord, Soundflower, I think.
Okay, Soundflower, yeah.
Yeah, so you can use Audio Hijack to send stuff, and it's with one of the filters, and it's called device output, auxiliary device output, and you can choose where you want it to go.
Okay.
So you can take the audio and you can send it out to a set of speakers, to a recording device, to a virtual audio mixer like Soundflower, or audio cable, I guess is what it's called. So yeah, so that's what.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah, it wasn't too pricey. It was like $30, I think.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
that's
cheaper
not
than a soundboard. Put it that way.
Well, I already have a soundboard, so.
Oh, geez, you're ahead of the game.
Well, it's a low end one.
Still better than the no end one that I have.
No, fair enough. While you're looking for that, I'm going to tell you the commitment I made for myself. I am determined no later than June of next year, I'm gonna have done 5 minutes of stand up at an open mic night.
Cool.
Just because I was like, I don't freaking try anything new these days, so I'm gonna. That's my first one. I'm gonna try something new.
Right on. I
See what
was
happens.
with you when you're talking. Once you got to the point where you were reading the book about how to write for comedy, I was wondering whether you were gonna give that a shot.
Yeah, well, I figure why not? I've always loved comedians, and I love making people laugh. It's not like an egotistical thing for me. I'm not like,
Mm.
hey, check me out, I'm funny. It's more just like I made that guy feel good, even if it was only for 5 seconds. So
Mm-hmm.
I just like that. So I
That's
figure
what
why
I.
not? It's something I've always kind of wanted to try, and I never freaking try anything. So I'm like, you know what? That seems like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Even if I bomb, at least I can say I tried it. You know?